Welcome to another edition of the Motor City Man Mile Show. My name is Scott Morgan off the Motor City Man Mile. We have a doubleheader tonight, beginning with the Motor City Man Mile Show, followed by the Sports Exchange. We are going to be all over the map. And obviously, Destination Discovery's Media Network obviously will be where this is also being streamed as well. So, hope you can join us. We got Steve Ballesteri back in the house. We were in Naples over the weekend with him. It was great to see you and Robin, Steve. Can you hear me, Steve?
Yeah, it was a wonderful time, my friend, and it was great to see you. It's been too long, and it was it was a lot of fun spending time with you guys, and I can't wait to do it again.
Oh, we'll be sooner than you think. We have a lot of business interest out there as well. Candy, well, we got ourselves a busy one. Ed McAndrew will be on in just a moment. We're going to get to the topics shortly, and he'll just pick up when he gets back on. So, Candy, some preliminary thoughts about Naples.
Oh, it was great. It was great seeing Steve. It was great, and his wife, his lovely wife, um, and good food, good company, good weather for the most part. It was only a little bit of rain as we were driving back, but had we not had the hiccup on the way back, I would be saying it was all around great. But when you live in Florida and you come back home and you have no AC, not good.
Yeah.
But other than that, Naples was great.
You should have
Okay.
came up back up on the West Coast with me, and you could have, sat in some air conditioning.
Yeah.
Don't think I wasn't tempting. If I'd have known it was out, I would have been up there with you and Robin. That night could have stayed. That night could have been going on a lot longer. Instead, I was trying to find every subscriber in sight for the Destination Discovery's Media Network. I'd say we did pretty well as well. So let me go ahead and pull up our first topic of the night, and we can go from there. So, anyways, first topic of the night, we're going to talk about the 10 of the most beautiful towns in the United States. And they are as follows. It's too bad you can't see them like I can, but Jackson, Wyoming is definitely up there. Is I think number one. Well, I mean Jackson, Wyoming. You ever been to Jackson, Wyoming?
I have. It's beautiful.
Yep. Anything else you want to add about Jackson, Wyoming?
Well, when I was there, it was in the middle of wintertime and the wind was hawking. So we didn't want to spend much time outside the vehicle. In fact, it was like we were driving a motorhome across all of Wyoming, and you could
Okay.
only do about 25 miles an hour because of the wind, because we were changing lanes all over the place.
Right. Wow.
But it's beautiful up there.
Okay. Candy, any thoughts about Jackson, Wyoming? What do you know about it?
I have never been there before, but if it's on the most beautiful places, it sounds like a bucket list item for sure.
All right, well, I'll just go over the list and then we can proceed from there. The next one is Bar Harbor, Maine. I would think anywhere you go in Maine's got to be beautiful, especially if there's water connected to it. Steve?
Yes, been there, or as the locals say, Bahaba.
Oh, that's right. You're from the New England area. That's for sure. So,
Yeah, it is a beautiful place. Right there on the ocean. Oh, that water's cold up there. Even in the middle of the summertime, that water will wake you up.
well, Candy, obviously you haven't been there, so you really probably don't have a comment on it, but judging by the pictures, it looks really nice with the mountains and the water and some of the hotels around there. I know Candy's one of those individuals who can research on the fly as well, so we're pretty much
Well, we've talked, Scott, that one of our bucket list items is to take 95 and go all
yeah.
the way up. So, some point, maybe we will be able to do that and get there. Although I think even uh, Bar Harbor isn't on 95. So, let's see.
Well,
Oh,
go ahead,
it's
do
a
your
little off.
research.
It's a little off 95, but 95 keeps going. So, yeah, we could definitely
Yeah,
take a
it's not
side.
that far off.
No, it's not that far off, but sounds
Let me
good to
t-
me.
let me tell you what with
We
this.
did a whale watching thing up there. Beautiful.
Oh, Really? Let me tell you, with this Honda Odyssey that I have, I can do an awful lot of things with this vehicle, and I don't have a lot of miles on it because I've been pretty much out of driving business for a little while. So, but let's move on to the next one. I can attest to this one. Sedona, Arizona. You ever been there? The Red Rocks?
No, I have never been. I've been in
Really?
Arizona, but not to Sedona.
Oh, that's heaven on earth, man. I mean,
So,
Red
so
Rocks.
Steve, so Steve, we got
Okay.
these backwards because this one I've been to, you've been to the other two, and this is beautiful. Oh my goodness! But I will say I have a story. So
Go ahead.
we were in Sedona, me and my parents years and years ago with my siblings, and our car actually broke down in Sedona. So it was a positive and a negative because obviously we had to stay there longer, but it was a beautiful place to be. Like you just looked all around, and there's a concert venue in there that I mean, there's just a lot of different places. It's definitely beautiful. Gotta go see. Should be a bucket list item.
Definitely.
All right. Well, I'll tell you, I'd love to go to this place called Whitefish, Montana. You ever
I've
been there?
been in Montana, but not Whitefish.
Okay. All right. We bring Ed to the show. You all set out there, Ed?
Yeah, I guess as they say, technology is great when it works.
Okay. Well, good. You're not too far
Yes,
behind. We're
that's
talking
good.
about we're talking about 10 of the most beautiful towns. We'll go backtrack it a little bit for you. You ever been to Jackson, Wyoming? Or what do you know about it?
No, I've not been to Jackson, Wyoming, but right as I got on, I heard Steve mention something about Montana. I spent about a whole year in Billings, Montana, going back and
Okay.
forth. Um, Billings itself is okay, but Billings is about the size of a quarter. And if you go right outside the city limits, it is. I mean, coming from Northern Virginia to going to out there to seeing the mountains and the open ranges and the ranches and stuff like that, it's really a sight to be seen. So I think Montana's a very pretty state.
Yeah, I've been to Montana myself. It is a nice place. Whitefish, I hear, is nice. Bar Harbor, Maine. I don't know if you've been up that way.
No, I've never been that far north. I've been to many states, but Maine has not been one of them yet. Probably on my bucket list at some point.
Yeah, bucket list will be a
No,
common word used tonight. Sedona, Arizona.
no, actually, nope, not haven't been to Arizona either. You're going to name all the places I've not been to. This is good, Scott.
Okay,
Yes,
so
what?
but you've been to Billings, Montana, but not Whitefish. Judging by the pictures, it looks good. We'll continue the
Nope.
theme there. Carmel by the Sea in California, Steve.
Yeah, I was there when Clint Eastwood was the mayor.
Really?
Oh
Beautiful.
wow!
No
Yes,
kidding.
beautiful time because it's not far from the Army's language school at Monterey,
Oh,
and
all right.
yeah, Clint Eastwood used to own a restaurant. I don't know if he still does. It was called the Hog's Breath Inn, and whenever we were in that neck of the woods, we would try to go there, hopefully to run into him. And of course, the one night I wasn't there, some of my friends did. So
Okay, what about you?
No, I can't say I've ever been to that part. I mean, I've been to California, but I haven't been there. Would have been nice. It'd been cool to run into Clint Eastwood. Big fan of Clint Eastwood. He would have been cool to run into and
Well,
as the mayor and stuff. Yeah.
we know Candy hasn't been to California, but don't worry, Candy, we'll get there. This is one though, which is doable for many of us. Charleston, South Carolina, Steve.
I used to live there. So
All
yes,
right, well then, yeah, you know, well, I've been there a few times. It is a great
Charleston
place.
is a gorgeous, gorgeous place. It is so beautiful there, and it's hot in the summertime. It definitely gets hot there, but I mean, downtown Charleston is wonderful. Whenever we would have people come down and visit, usually in the wintertime, um, we take them downtown, and you could go to the beach even in the middle of the wintertime. Now the water was cold, but you could sit out in the sun down there. I mean,
Yeah.
it's just absolutely gorgeous, and it's like Charleston's a ton of islands that are all connected, and each one of them has um, their own little flavor, I guess you could say, which
Yeah.
is really cool. But yeah, beautiful, beautiful place. We loved it there.
Yeah, Folly is one of my favorite ones.
Folly Beach. Yeah.
Yeah, Folly Beach. Okay, Eddie.
Yes, actually, I have been to Charleston. I actually worked a project down there for a client in Charleston. We would go to the Isle of Palm
Isle of
frequently. Go
Palms.
down that, yeah. We had some. I can remember. It was kind of late summer, I guess. We were working down there, and me and my partner, we went to. We decided we went to have dinner at a place that was right on the beach. You know, and you see all the people vacationing, and you're there working. But to Steve's point, it's gorgeous. It's
The
South
wind, the
Carolina.
Windjammer there on Isle of Palms
Yeah.
was my favorite.
Yes. I think actually, I think we might have gone there once or twice.
Yep. Beautiful place.
They,
Right on the
they
water.
yes. Uh, it's. I mean, I'm a beach guy. I want to, that's my end goal in life is to end up somewhere near the water. Um, so that was kind of, it's nice. It's just gorgeous, and it's very historic too. You know, there's a lot of history in Charleston, South Carolina.
Hmm.
So
Oh yeah.
Candy.
It was founded in 1670. It features cobblestone streets, historic homes, iconic spots like Rainbow Row and the Pineapple Fountain. It's situated on a peninsula, offers access to beaches, waterways, the Atlantic Ocean, and yes, I have been to Charleston, South Carolina.
Yeah, I've been there too, and also have minor league baseball in Charleston as well. So I
Yes, they
think,
do.
yes, they do. Yeah,
uh, is it the Yankees out there? I think I'm not sure who it is, but the last
I
time
don't
the
know who it
Yankees.
is now,
yeah, I don't.
but
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
it changes a lot, but yeah, they have it out there. All right,
Bill
let's
Murray
continue on.
used to own the team there.
Oh, did he really? No
oh
kidding.
Yeah.
wow, no, I didn't know that.
Bill
Yeah.
Murray. How
Bill
about
Murray
that?
used to own the team.
Wow. Okay. Leavenworth, Washington, Steve.
Never been.
Okay. And it's okay to keep the answer short if you haven't been, because it's okay. I just want to make sure that we have the list out there. What about you?
No
Ed?
sir, no sir, couldn't even find it on a map.
Okay. Well, Stowe. All right. What about you, Candy? Obviously, I don't think you've done much west at all, have you? Up
What?
that far, anyways, right?
Where was it?
Leavenworth, Washington.
No.
Okay. Let's continue on the New England thing. I think I haven't either. Stowe, Vermont, Steve?
Stowe, Vermont. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very nice. Yeah.
What
Well,
stands
Vermont
out?
as a whole is very nice. Now their people are a little different out there, but but it's a beautiful state.
Yeah.
It's they like to keep things uh, rustic. Even the big cities. I mean,
Hmm.
there's still a lot of green you know in the city and Vermont, but Stowe itself is gorgeous. Nice place to visit.
See, you know what?
Yeah.
I suffered a major ankle injury on Magic Mountain in Londonderry, Vermont, and I had torn ligaments in my ankle. Ironically, on Christmas Day, the same day Billy Martin died. Go ahead, Eddie.
No, I've been to Vermont. To Steve's point, I've been to Burlington and done work up there. Yes, it's a very, they keep it green. It's very similar, the whole, whether it's a small town or whatever. But no, I've never been to Stowe.
And Candy.
I have never been to Stowe. I will say there have been a couple of few notable film feature scenes were primarily shot on location in Stowe, Vermont. The comedy drama The Four Seasons back in '81, directed by Alan Alda, and an indie horror film Blood Lodge in 2012, and portions of the indie comedy Wedding Band in '97. But I've
Very
never
good.
been there.
All right. Well, we're working on Europe right now. All right. And the last, we got a couple more on this list. Saugatuck, Michigan. I haven't been there, but from I hear, it's a great place. Steve?
No, never been there.
What about you, Ed?
Neither, where, Saga? No, I have not been there at all.
Candy? Candy?
I don't. Well, actually, I think I may have because it's right by next to Holland, Michigan, over there, and we've taken the ferry from one to the other. So I might have
Okay.
quickly driven through there, but not been there for like a length of time.
Interesting first topic, isn't it, Steve?
Yes,
No,
I
don't
love it.
worry. Don't worry. They all get more interesting after this. And then the last one on this list is Telluride, Colorado.
Telluride?
Yeah, that's it. Telluride. Yeah,
Telluride,
Telluride.
Colorado. Okay, yeah. I've driven through there, never spent any time there.
Okay, Ed.
Negative. I'm gonna tell you right.
Okay, Candy.
I do not believe I have been through there. No,
Okay, no problem.
I
Let's
like
take it all.
Colorado.
I
Oh,
do
Not a
yeah.
not.
Denver Broncos fan, but I like
Yeah,
Right.
Colorado.
yeah, I can't believe that. Yeah,
I had to add that in there, right?
yeah. Well,
Oh, right.
like
Yeah, absolutely.
not like I didn't quite expect it, anyways. Okay, because of your Patriots interest. Okay, a German city created sleep pods for the homeless in Ulm, Germany. You ever see what a sleep pod is?
No.
Yes,
Nope.
I have.
Eh,
Well,
Okay.
I've seen a sleep pot. Here's the story. Handful of years ago, my brother's wife, my youngest brother's wife, worked for Google up in New York in their place in Chelsea. My son was really interested in kind of getting a tour of the facility and doing all that stuff. So they use Google had the large, kind of like the old transportation building. It took up like 2 city blocks, and it was as long as 2 city blocks. Well, you go up there, and you go on any of the floors. It's like you've gone into almost like a dormitory. There's places to work. There is food all over the place, and there are sleep pods in sections of the thing. And you basically, it's like a little. Do you remember Mork? You remember Mork and Mindy when they showed him coming out of the egg in the beginning? That's kind of what a sleep pod to me looks like. That's
Yeah,
the
I'm
best
Okay.
way I know to describe it.
Yeah, see, I'm gonna get you a picture. Oh, there you go. You have it.
Yeah,
That's it. That's
there it
it.
is. See,
See it, Steve?
that's Mork from Mork. I'm telling you.
Yeah,
All
that's
See
right.
it
it.
to the
No, no,
German.
no.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
right.
There you go. Absolutely. Now we just have to sit on our head.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He was a comic genius. Gone way too soon.
Hmm.
yeah. We'll get to him one of these days as well. Candy, some thoughts about the sleep pod?
I think it's a brilliant idea because it's probably
Yeah.
doesn't cost them that much, and to help provide, um, it actually even can provide them shelter and heat during the freezing winter. Let's face it, Germany is not the warmest culture. It doesn't stay warm all the time, kind of like it
Right.
does, down here more in Florida. So it's built from sturdy wood and steel to block cold wind and rain. I think it's a great idea.
And did I see on there that they're solar powered?
Yes.
Okay, so that means they won't eat electricity. So they just the panels heat in the morning
Hmm.
while sun's up, and then you have it through the night. It's a better idea than the tent cities you see up in some of these states, here in the states at least.
Yep.
It's a little neater looking and probably more warmer.
Hey, listen, if
Yeah, I
they're
would
solar
imagine they'd
powered,
be nice and snuggly once you get inside there.
Yeah,
exactly. If they're solar powered, they're snuggly, they're warm, and even though I don't sleep well at all, I'll take it. And that's a
yeah,
good picture, by the
exactly.
way. Whoever came up with that, who came up with that?
That was me.
Oh, that figures. Okay, good. You always do, anyways. All right. All right, we went some of the most beautiful places. Now I'm going to take you from one extreme to another. Creepy places in America that you should never visit. Okay, my goodness. Well, here, this one's pretty obvious. Six Flags in New Orleans, Louisiana, left to rot after Hurricane Katrina. It's been fenced off for recent giant rides creak in the wind, and the silence is deafening. All right, Steve.
Yeah, I that's one place I would not want to go. I've heard that it is kind of creepy now because it's all getting dilapidated and overgrown.
Right,
And
right.
if you're going to make it a new horror movie, there's your location.
Oh, don't worry. Don't worry.
Steve just
This list gets more interesting. Go ahead, Ed.
no, Steve. I'll just piggyback off that because I was going to say, I've done some of those Halloween haunts at like King's Dominion or a Busch Gardens. But if you have the actual effect where wind's blowing and you have trees creaking and that I the imagery of that, Scott, kind of gave me little goosebumps. Where you have the next Jason running you through the or actually to top it off to make it even better, it's a clown that's chasing you through the amusement park,
Yes. Yeah.
like the It clown or whatever.
Yeah.
So
Pennywise.
yeah, Pennywise. Yeah, exactly. Pennywise chasing you through New Orleans. Great.
Yeah.
There you go. Hey, here's our idea for a movie.
Yeah, that's okay. I'm staying away from the place anyway. Hurricane Katrina did a lot. I remember what happened with Hurricane Katrina. After the aftermath, I went there. That was a nasty storm. It really was. We had it in South Florida, but we were on the front of it. New Orleans got blasted. I saw an FAU game against Memphis over at the Superdome. And tell you something, that was before Hurricane Katrina, and obviously it wrecked the Superdome really bad. Candy, some thoughts about Six Flags? We got plenty more to go on this topic. Go ahead, Candy.
So Six Flags originally opened as Jazzland in 2000 and rebranded as Six Flags in 2003,
Really?
only to be destroyed by Hurricane Katrina in 2005, which is sad because think about it, it was only 5 years old. But to your guys' point, I can tell you I love watching crime shows, and Scott will tell you that. There have been numerous episodes that have talked or had whether not necessarily a Six Flags, but an amusement park as part of the theme or part of the show. So it does definitely happen.
Okay, let's continue. Let's continue on. A lot more to go. Elkmont, Tennessee, an old resort hidden in the forest, cabins left untouched. Some say they've heard footsteps echo in the trees when no one's there. Steve.
Yeah, I watched Deliverance and no thank you.
Yes.
No, thank you. I was like, no. I don't want to go place where there's like these empty cabins for 100 years. No. I can do without that. Thank you very much.
Yes.
You're welcome. Don't worry. Yes. We're not promoting tourism in this segment.
Yes. I watched the Blair Witch Project. No,
there you go.
I'm good with dark forests, creaky cabins. That is just not. Yeah, nah. I'll pass.
Okay, Candy.
If anybody wants to shoot a crime scene there, go right ahead. But I'm not going to live there.
All right, there you go. Here's another place. Maybe people are familiar with it. Me either. Centralia, Pennsylvania. This whole town's been burning underground for decades. A fire started in 1962 and it's still going. Streets crack, smoke rises from the ground, and no one lives here anymore. Steve?
I've heard about that place. I think they did. There was like a TV special on that place. There's a fire underground that has not gone out in 65 years.
Right.
And what an eerie place that must be, right? All of a sudden, I know no one lives there, but the street cracks and all the steam comes up. Yeah. And then you'd be waiting for Diablo to come out of that hole, right? So Centralia, sorry. I'll take a pass on that one too.
All right, Eddie.
In 1962, a fire started in a nearby landfill, spread into a coal mine beneath the town, and the underground coal caught fire and been burning for decades. Dangerous gases are coming up through the sinkholes in the ground. Thousands once lived there, but today only a handful of residents remain, and most buildings are demolished. Centralia is often called a ghost town, and it's frequently compared to the setting of the Silent Hill games. Thank you, I will pass. That is a big old pass for me.
Okay, Candy.
So the fire spread through the mines, causing dangerous carbon monoxide levels and sinkholes, including one that swallowed a 12-year-old boy who did actually survive, though. But can you imagine being swallowed by a sinkhole? Uh, no, thank you.
No.
Okay, well, guess what? We're going to one of our favorite states, but for a different reason. Bannack, Montana, an old Wild West town, frozen in time. Wooden building stand, Forest Creek open, but no one walks the streets anymore. Steve?
Now that's a place that I can hitch my horse to, right? Yeah, because you never know when Clint Eastwood, the High Plains Drifter, is going to come peering out of the mist there.
Right.
Now that's a place I would like to go because I love the history of the Wild West, and I think that would be a cool place to hang out
Yeah.
at night.
I gotta I
Yeah, I'm
gotta
not so
agree
bothered
with
by that either.
yeah, I gotta agree with
Go,
Steve on this.
go ahead.
In Montana, it's kind of open, brighter. It's not. You don't have the darkness. You don't feel it's more open than being stuck in the trees and less. And I could hitch my horse to the western town. So
Yeah, of the group that
agreed.
we had so far, this one doesn't look that bad. Candy?
Right.
Yeah, it was the site of Montana's first major gold rush and famously operated under the terror of a corrupt sheriff. Um, but yeah, I wouldn't it wouldn't bother me as much as some of the other ones you've mentioned.
Yeah, the Stanley Hotel, by the way, Estes Park, Colorado, famously known as the inspiration for Stephen King's The Shining. This 1909 resort was actually known for ghostly piano music, phantom children in the corridors, and explained shadow figures, primarily in the infamous room 217. Nevertheless, this one doesn't look bad. The next one, well, I don't know. Gilman, Colorado, an abandoned mining town on a cliff's edge, poisoned by decades of toxic waste. No one is allowed in, but the ruins are still watching. Steve?
Yeah, I saw something from the Smithsonian Channel on this exact place,
Did
and
you?
there's so much toxicity there that it's like you can't really even go there. And yeah, I mean, obviously, none of us want to go to a place like that. But
No.
looking at the pictures of the place, you could see that at one time, probably over 100 years ago, it was probably a nice looking place.
Yeah.
Ed?
No. Anything that says toxic gases beware. I'm gonna probably drive by and look for the next town to stay at. And to Steve's point, I was just thinking as you were talking, Scott. It's kind of you're talking about towns that are still kind of festering and boiling, and in this whatever ghost town, and we're talking about here in America. It's
Right.
kind of there's a sadness, some kind of an underlying sadness to it. But whether I'm going to stay there or not, no, I'll pass. It's nice to know, but nah.
Candy?
So it's oh, an abandoned company-owned mining ghost town perched on a 600-foot cliff above the Eagle River in Eagle County. It was founded in 1886 during the silver boom. It was excavated and closed in 1984 to 85 due to heavy metal, soil, and groundwater contamination. So, if you're bringing your own water and food, I guess it would be okay, but that's about it.
Okay, let's continue on. Aren't these interesting? I'm telling you.
Oh yeah.
I love digging this stuff up. All right, here's an interesting one. Lake Shawnee Amusement Park in West Virginia, built on cursed land. Multiple deaths led to it being shut down. The first wheel still stands, but the rides haven't moved in years. Steve?
I haven't been there, and by the sound of it, that's not a place I want to go to. Yeah, I don't like hearing about haunted, amusement parks. I don't know. It just that stuff just gives me the creeps, and
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
like Ed was saying, I'm expecting to turn the corner and seeing Pennywise there, right?
Yeah,
With
exactly. Yeah.
Jason and Freddy Krueger, playing cards or something in the corner.
Exactly.
No.
Exactly.
I don't need to go to a haunted amusement park.
Yeah, see, we're giving you a few
So,
amusement parks not to go to today.
so,
Go ahead, Eddie.
so, Scott, if I hear you correctly, we were just talking about spooky amusement parks not on cursed ground, but you've taken it up a notch now. So now we've got spooky ones on cursed grounds. So no, I don't. No, to Steve's point, I'm waiting for Pennywise, Jason. All of them are sitting there. The guy from the Scary Movie, the Halloween, everybody. They're all just sitting there waiting for you. And then Pennywise and all his friends.
Candy?
So it actually opened in 1926. It was operated for decades before closing for good in 1988. The property was previously an ancient Native American burial ground and the site of 18th century pioneer tragedies. There's opinions on Reddit are mixed regarding the exact number of tragic accidents during its active years, but multiple accidental deaths, including a young girl on a swing set, contributed to its closure and dark reputation.
All right, I'm got more for you. PICHER, Pashir, Oklahoma, declared one of the most toxic towns in America. The ground is unstable, the air is unsafe, and what's left looks like an eerie apocalyptic film.
Sounds like Chernobyl in Oklahoma.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
no, yeah, that's yeah. Put that on my to-do list, right? Not.
Yeah, right, exactly.
You know, I sit here and see it has toxic air and ground, and it's in the middle, and Oklahoma's kind of positioned in the middle of the continental U.S. Oh, is this it?
Yes.
And she dug it up. There it is.
Yeah, it looks like Chernobyl.
Yeah.
Not too appetizing.
Yeah, no, it looks like one of those, like you'd watch on a Discovery Channel or History Channel. They're like, what happened? It's like, what happened here type things. And then you have all the experts looking at, well, this looks like a town and the people just fled and so on. But no, I'll be able to, Steve, we'll be driving right by that, kind of just looking out our mirror.
Okay, Candy.
So it was a once thriving lead and zinc mining town that became a toxic ghost town due to severe environmental contamination from mining waste. Um, it says decades of mining left behind massive piles of toxic chat and contaminated water, causing health problems and prompting the EPA to declare it a Superfund site. A devastating tornado in 2008 accelerated the town's abandonment, leaving behind an eerie landscape of empty foundations and hazardous waste piles.
All right, well, I got one where the name probably says it all. Oh, goodness. Ready for this one? How about this? Helltown, Ohio, people. Helltown, Ohio. HELLTOWN, and everybody knows how to spell Ohio. A town with so many creepy stories, it got shut down. The government cleared it out. But why? Locals still won't go near it after dark, Steve.
Now we know where all the horror movie stars go to to stay in between shoots, right? Helltown, that's just like sure.
You would hear things in Helltown, even if there was not making any noise. Your mind would just play so many tricks on you. You'd scare yourself, and it would really be all psychosomatic. But it would be, it'd be one of those things. Anyway, no, that's a hard pass.
All right, Candy, that's a whole lot more than a heart attack.
There's a picture.
Okay, that's all right, Candy. Let's continue on. Yeah, that's
road
bad.
Closed.
Yes. Yes. Left the empty, decaying houses left behind for decades inspired famous local urban legends and ghost stories. No, for me, that's a no.
No for me either. That's okay. All right, well, here's one that might be somewhat intriguing anyways. The Salton Sea in California, once a booming resort, now it's a ghost town with toxic waters and abandoned homes. The air smells like decay, and the silence unnatural, but maybe if you're lucky, maybe you'll get a few seashells out of it. Anyways, Steve.
I've heard of that place. I don't have any desire to go there. And yeah, I heard the smell there is awful.
Well, we don't
All
have
right.
to worry about it. We don't have to worry about it here because we live near the water. But it rules it out for me. Go ahead, Ed.
We'll have to make a. Now that I hear that it stinks, we'll have to make a hard pass on that. And Scott, where are you digging all these? I don't even know. I'm speechless with all the time. With again, I think you're outdoing yourself for the What is this? My second or third time? My 100th time on this show? I can't remember, but it's been a
I don't
lot.
know.
Like third.
Okay.
Yeah, you pull out these towns that you're
Exactly.
educating us all. You're just educating us all about these ghost
Yeah,
towns.
it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah,
It's a beautiful
it's a
thing.
beautiful thing.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, yes, it is.
Okay, well, don't worry.
Good
I'll
stuff.
keep educating you a little bit more as far as my phone will allow me to do it.
Oh,
Anyways.
thank you, sir.
Okay, no problem. Go ahead, Candy.
Yeah, there's a toxic. It's a toxic, salty lake bed that's creating dust storms and causes respiratory problems for nearby residents. So, what besides the smell, with it being toxic dust, no, thank you.
Okay. All right. All right. So we got Salton Sea out of the way. North Brother Island, New York. Once home to quarantine hospital, now swallowed by nature. It's illegal to visit, and many who have tried say it feels wrong to be there. Candy, can you get my phone charger over by the iPad Pro, please?
Sure.
Thanks. Go ahead, Steve.
What's the name of this place again?
North Brother Island, New York. Ever? It actually once home to a quarantine
I've never
hospital,
heard
now
of this
swallowed.
one. This is a different one.
Yeah, it is. They're all different. But yet you've never heard of this one? That's okay. You want to defer? North, that's okay. Go ahead and research it.
Oh, Typhoid Mary was there.
What's that?
I said, what quarantine hospital is known for is where Typhoid Mary spent years in a forced quarantine on North Brother Island because she was an asymptomatic carrier of typhoid fever. She died in 1938. She was like the carrier of
Okay.
typhoid. Is Steve? Steve might be frozen. I think Steve's frozen.
Yeah, it looks like he is frozen.
No, but North Brother Island, the small abandoned island in New York City's East River, between the Bronx and Rikers Island.
All right, we got you.
I have heard of this place.
Have you?
Yeah, I like watching it. Heard of it in the sense that I've seen, like I was talking about. I like to watch the History Channel and things like that with these where they talk about Alcatraz or they talk about Rikers or they talk about these kind of things. But no, I recall hearing something about quarantine hospital and all of this. Yeah. The island is filled with crumbling buildings and is being reclaimed by nature. No, I'm not sure. I do not want to go live between the Bronx and Rikers Island on this island. I'll pass.
Okay. Steve, are you back? Steve.
It looked like he was back just a second ago. He's kind of looking with being in the dark and no dark background and a dark shirt. He's kind of looking like a floating head.
Yeah. All right, well, we'll have Candy back in a moment. We have to keep this thing going. The sports exchange is
Well,
coming
check.
up. Go ahead,
Well,
Candy.
check this out. Oh, can I just say one more thing?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, go ahead.
North Brother Island is one of the most mysterious places in New York because it sits in plain sight of the city, yet remains largely inaccessible. New York City, I just thought that was cool. Anyway,
All right,
It
we got
did-
your back, Steve.
nope, he comes in and out.
There he
All right,
is.
Steve.
Yes,
Can you hear
sir.
us, Steve?
All right, we have you back. Okay. What do you know about North Brother Island? Have you been able to pick up some of the signals here?
Yeah, I don't know anything about it. That's the
Okay.
first I've heard of this. So yeah, that's interesting. That's that close to the city.
Yeah, well, like I say, it's a
Yeah.
one's home to a quarantine hospital. So what does that tell you? A quarantine hospital? That's a bad omen. All right, go ahead, Candy, real quick. We'll continue on with a couple more lists. Hey, Ed, I knew you'd enjoy some of these lists because they're off the wall, and our whole idea is to
Oh,
make sure everybody's learning them.
oh, absolutely. Let's teach them. No, I
Oh
was
yeah,
the crazier the better, Scott. That's what drew me to this show.
yeah.
So the
Go
hos-
ahead,
the hos-
Candy.
the hospital was established in 1880s to isolate people with smallpox, typhus, and tuberculosis. It actually did house returning World War II veterans and then operated as an adolescent drug treatment center until it closed in 1963. Thought that was
Mm,
interesting.
yeah.
Yeah, it really is interesting. All right, let's go to our featured topic of the night, and then we'll get back to travel in a moment. Rock legend John Bon Jovi opened 3 community restaurants to serve nutritious meals to the hungry and homeless. That's a great gesture by Bon Jovi, Steve.
Yeah, I love this. I heard about this. I think on internet somewhere, but anyway, yeah, and I love the whole thing where you know if you go there and you can pay, you pay, and and you sit at a communal table to interact with everyone there. If you can't pay, then you just work for a couple of hours to pay off your meal, in the kitchen, wash dishes, whatever. I just think it's a great idea. And look, that's a great way to give back. And kudos to John Bon Jovi. Yeah, I heard he had two. I didn't realize he had three of these, um, in New Jersey. And that's, you know, uh, at a time right now where there's so many people struggling, I,
Right.
I love this idea and good for him.
Okay,
I
Eddie.
got I got to agree with Steve. I'm a big fan of John Bon Jovi and his music, and just hearing about what he does for the people of his community, and he gives back, and it's always good to see those who have a lot give back to those who have little. And it's and he doesn't do it for the fanfare. He's not doing it for. He's doing it because that's where his heart's in the right place. I think it's great. I think people need to pay attention to that and follow his lead and do what you can to help your fellow man.
Candy.
John Bon Jovi created his Soul Kitchen community restaurants to tackle hunger in a way that preserves dignity. The kitchens don't list prices on the menu. Guests are encouraged to make suggested donations or pay it forward by covering someone else's meal. Um, and it's done in a communal setting because they want people to talk to other people, and you never know what might come out of it. But he opened a bunch of those restaurants, and I think that's just a wonderful way to help and give back to a community.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, listen, anytime a celebrity can go out there and use his fame and give something back to the community, that to me is a good thing. All right, well, you know what? I bombarded you with towns, so we'll just change it up to the presidents for just a moment. The shortest presidencies in American history. Are ready for this? Some of these are, if you're a history buff, you'll definitely like this one. Beginning with, let's see, we've got William Henry Harrison lasted all of 31 days. Gave the longest inaugural speech in history, caught pneumonia, and died 31 days later, Steve.
Yeah, I remember reading about him when I was a kid. He talked for so long in the pouring rain, he got sick,
Hmm.
and he died less than a month later. And yeah, I mean, it's that's a horrible way for the country to be run, but stuff happens. And
Yeah, you know
back
what?
then, the medical field, I mean, today they'd give him a couple of antibiotics and he'd be back on
Right.
his feet. But, it's the time that they lived in.
Exactly. I was gonna kind of say a similar thing. He went out, gave a speech. You back in those days they didn't have all the antibiotics and medicines that we do. You were risking it. and it's never good for the country to lose its leader ever. So in 31 days, I think that was probably a shock to the system, but they pushed on.
Yeah, you don't want to mess. Go ahead, Candy.
So the couple of little interesting tidbits is that um, he was the first president to actually die in office. He the other thing is he was born in Virginia. He was the last president to be born before the U.S. Declaration of Independence, making him actually a British subject. He's a member of the
Ah.
Harrison family of Virginia. He was son of Benjamin Harris, a founding father, and the father of John Scott Harrison, the only son and father of two presidents of the United States. His grandson, Benjamin Harrison, became the 23rd president of the United States. Uh, just a couple of interesting little tidbits.
Wow, those are interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, let me continue on, Katie. You have a lot more presidents, so we appreciate the information. Okay, James A. Garfield, 200 days. Well, you got a little bit more out of him, anyways. March 4th to September 19th, 1881, shot by an enraged office seeker 4 months and lingered 79 days before dying. Steve.
Yeah, he was one of the first, not the first, but one of the first to be assassinated. Um, Although he lived for quite a while there, you know, it was. I remember reading about this again. It was a terrible situation, but you know, Garfield, he had just what did you say, 200 days?
200
200
days,
days,
yeah.
that's it.
Yeah, and 79 of them were after he was injured, so he really only had 4 months in office, which is terrible.
Yeah, he didn't have much time, that's for sure. Eddie.
It just goes to show us that all the political unrest that can occur within this country is not something the country it's not new to the country. It happened way back at our inception. Yeah, 200 days to Steve's point. What he lingered for 79, so what's that? That's like 129 days that he was president. That's short time. But unfortunately, you can be a marked man or woman when you're in those kind of public roles.
Hey, Katie.
So he was going to visit his alma mater and give a speech at his college, Williams College. At the time, presidents and their families traveled alone without a Secret Service detail.
Hmm.
And what Garfield didn't know was the disgruntled and unhinged man named Charles Guiteau had been stalking the president for weeks, hoping to carry out a God given command to kill Garfield to make way for his successor, Vice President Chester A. Arthur. Garteau had even purchased an ivy handled pistol that he thought would look nice in a museum when the deed was done.
Oh wow,
He
that's
shot him
premeditation, I guess.
shot him twice at close range, and the second bullet lodged in the president's pancreas.
Okay. Ouch. All right, let's continue on, Candy. Zachary Taylor, 492 days, 1849 to 1850, war hero turned president, died of a stomach illness barely a year in his term. Well, stomach illness, they didn't have advanced medicine to get him cured, but Zachary Taylor gone in 492 days. Steve.
Yeah, and he was another one that was cut short. He was a soldier. You wonder if his military service had something to do with his stomach issues or whatever. I mean, but
Right.
again, the back then, we didn't have the kind of medical stuff. We've talked about this quite a bit. I
Yeah,
mean, he probably would have been cured in no time today.
Bad timing
yeah,
medically. Go
yeah,
ahead, Ed.
exactly. They were just they were susceptible to so many different things that we just don't even think about anymore because our diets, our vitamins, our antibiotics, our everything that we do now to prevent these things from happening, they didn't know about. So I think Steve, it's funny you said something about his military. I was thinking something similar too, that maybe he was the military service kind of wore his body down and it never had time to fully recuperate. So when it got that virus and so on, or got sick, it just was too much for him to handle.
Andy,
A year after taking presidency, he attended 4th of July celebrations in the nation's capital on a sweltering summer day. To cool down, he drank glass after glass of ice water. When he got back home, he reportedly ate large quantities of cherries and other
wow.
fruits washed down with iced milk. It's not clear which of these foods or drinks did him in, but he experienced excruciating stomach pain, vomiting, um, and he was diagnosed with cholera, a bacterial infection of the small intestine.
All right, two more to go. Warren G. Harding, 881 days, 1921 to 1922, dropped dead of a massive heart attack in a San Francisco hotel room. Well, heart attacks are what they are, Steve.
Yeah,
And that's
and
a time Harding.
I saw something on the History Channel about him recently, and they said that he had a love child, and she was threatening to go public with it. I wonder if that had something to do
Yeah,
with his untimely demise, right?
Right, exactly.
that could definitely put some stress on the heart. But you just again back then, even then, they didn't have the test we did, and still today, men and women are dropping dead out of the blue from heart attacks that are just my grandfather 50 some years ago dropped dead of a massive heart attack, and it sometimes those kind of things happen. So
Candy,
Harding suffered poor health and exhaustion for years, possibly due to an enlarged heart. In the weeks before his death, he had embarked on an ambitious cross country speaking tour, including the first presidential visit to the Alaska Territory. He was hit with a bout of food poisoning and detoured to San Francisco for some bed rest and medical attention. And yes, he died from heart attack.
all right, and our last one on this topic here, Gerald Ford, 895 days, 1974 to 77. Actually, the only president never elected to the presidency or vice presidency, lost to Jimmy Carter in 1976. This one didn't end with a death, but that was a very
Right.
different road.
Yeah, and
yeah,
Ford came around at a rough time in
yep,
our history, right?
Right,
All the stuff with Nixon, and Agnew had left in disgrace,
right,
and then Nixon appointed Ford as the vice president. Then Nixon left in disgrace, and Ford was in a absolutely no-win situation.
yeah.
He had no shot at beating anybody in the election, but he lost to Jimmy Carter, which
Yeah.
was a story in itself, right?
Right.
So,
Well,
but he was dealt a tough hand.
yeah,
yeah,
by the way, Gerald Ford is from Michigan, by the way,
yep,
University of Michigan alum
yep,
who also
yep.
played football. Go ahead, Ed.
No, he just no. Steve said it best. He was he was handed the rudder of a sinking ship, and it just seemed like
Yeah.
it kept going down deeper and deeper. And there was, you know, yeah, there was
He
just
was
no way
almost
he was.
assassinated twice
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah, right. I remember that.
There's just
by the
there
Manson
was yeah,
people.
yeah, yeah. There was no way he was going to be elected. I mean, and he was just he did the best we could. He did the best he could with what he had.
Candy.
Yeah, I mean, he's the only person to serve both vice president and president without being elected.
Right.
Kind of
Speaks,
crazy.
speaks volumes. All right, I got another interesting one for you. Well, we'll get to some total topics. I just love these lists sometimes. So, 7 leaders from history who destroyed their own nations with one decision. Oh, you're going to love this list. Muammar Gaddafi firing protesters in Libya 2011. Obviously, Gaddafi's order to shoot protesters sparked a nationwide uprising, foreign intervention, civil war, and the total collapse of Libya into a militia rule and chaos. Steve, anybody is more familiar with military stuff as you.
Yeah, and Gaddafi, yeah, that was an absolute blunder by him. It caused all kinds of uprisings everywhere, and he was forced out, and he died horribly in a ditch. Right? I mean, they ran him off the road, and they ended up executing him, and he had visions of grandeur when he was in office there earlier back in the 80s. And, he paid the price at that point, and then eventually made another blunder, and he paid for it with his life. So,
Oh yeah, I mean, yeah, you start shooting protesters. I think there's a good chance that they're gonna start rising up against you, and the Libyan people did that, and he messed around. I guess he underestimated his own people and what they stood for, and they showed him, and basically it, his thing, whatever he was attempting to do, failed miserably.
Andy?
Obviously, horrendous decision, and paid the price. I'll leave it at that.
All right, next one. Adolf Hitler invading the Soviet Union, Germany in 1941, June 1941. Hitler's invasion of the USSR opened up a second front he couldn't sustain. It drained resources, froze his army, and ultimately led to Nazi Germany's total collapse. Steve?
yeah, that Operation Barbarossa, it was a terrible decision, especially the timing. They didn't
Right.
end up doing it till the end of June, which the original German plan was to do it in early May because the Russian winter, and that if you go back, they reached the outskirts of Moscow in 1941, but they were not prepared for the winter, and thousands of their troops ended up dying from the elements, and it was invading the Soviet Union was a terrible decision to begin with. But
Right.
Hitler, because he still had the war going on with England, and by invading the Soviet Union, he alienated a huge army to his east. And then, to top it off, a couple of months later, he declared war on the United States. So you talk about bad decisions. There was a bunch of them there in 1941.
Oh, no doubt about it. Go ahead, Andy.
Oh yeah, he just no. It seemed like he was making one after the other, from the winters to declaring war against America. He just no. It shows you what a incompetent or insane man who are given keys to the castle can do, and why you always have to be very careful who you give the keys to.
Andy?
Just an evil man, and proved it over and over and over again. I'll leave it at that.
Okay, well, that's all right. Emperor Hirohito's approval of Pearl Harbor, Japan, 1941. What else needs to be said about that, Steve?
Yeah, well, he didn't really have much to say. I mean, he was considered divine, right? And he was nominally in charge, but he had a small cabinet, and they really made all the decisions on
Oh,
this.
really? Okay.
Oh yeah, yeah, and it was actually, Tojo, who
Right? Yeah.
he was really the de facto leader of the government. And and Hirohito was more of a. I mean, the people worshipped him. Don't get me wrong, but he was more of a figurehead because he didn't have much to say in the day to day, running of the government or the war for that matter. It wasn't until the second atomic bomb that he put his foot down, and
Right.
because the military guys wanted to keep fighting.
Right.
They weren't sure that the United States. Now at the time they did not know we didn't have any more atomic bombs, uh, but the emperor stood up and said, "No, we can't do this any longer." They wanted to keep fighting.
Yeah,
Ed,
exactly. It just goes to show, yeah, and it just he was a figurehead. It shows that you need to make sure that that was a unique situation, and you just you got to be careful who you surround yourself with, and make sure you're aligned. And the craziest part, I think, is what Steve was just pointing out, is that after the bombs dropped, they still wanted to keep going. They wanted to they thought they were still, kind of reminds you of Baghdad Bob. Nothing's
mhm.
happening here. We can go get it. We're still getting it, but no. I mean, so yeah, so he's probably his own worst enemy, not putting the right people around him.
Candy.
Well, and I think listening to the wrong people. I mean, if there was a group of people trying to help him, they definitely didn't help him. So not
All
good.
right, all right, let's continue on. Only a few more of these left, and then we're going to get to a little bit more relaxing stuff here than this. But we have to get to it. It's all part of the current event stuff. Saddam Hussein invading Kuwait, Iraq, 1990. Ooh,
Yeah,
that was bad. All right, go ahead,
yeah, that
Steve.
was a bad
Yeah,
move. But at the time, and again, there was an American diplomat that gave him really bad signals
Really?
that the United States didn't really care about Kuwait and would not be involved. There was a diplomat that gave him that impression that if he invaded Kuwait, the United States wasn't going to get involved. And Saddam Hussein. I mean, he invaded Iran. He wasn't the brightest bulb, right, in the bunch. But yeah,
Right.
the backstory of that was, there was an American diplomat that said, "Oh, Kuwait isn't
yeah,
important to us," and so he went along with it. And then, of course, he immediately regretted that because then we put together a coalition of about 30 different countries that were intent on kicking his butt right out of there. And that's where you ended up with the highway of death that,
hmm
they tried to steal everything that they could, um, from Kuwait and trying to get back into Baghdad. And that was a horrible, horrible situation.
All right, Ed.
yeah. I don't have. I think Steve summed it up the best. I don't really have much. He was. That
Okay.
was. Yeah. He listened to the wrong guy.
Okay. Fair enough. Candy.
He was a dictator who ruled with extreme fear, secret police, and a strong personal cult. Horrible man. I can honestly say that I am proud to know one of the gentlemen that captured him.
Really?
Un-
Wow.
Unfortunately, he's no longer with us, but yes.
Wow.
Oh
Interesting.
wow.
Okay, let's continue on. I only have three more of these, and then things get a little bit easier here. Julius Caesar crossing the Rubicon, Rome, 49 BC. I don't think any of us were alive during that one. And the army sparked the civil war that ended the Roman Republic and set the stage for an empire built on dictatorship. Steve, were you
Yep.
alive? Were you have any ancestors alive for this one?
Yeah, the die is cast, right?
All right,
When he
very
Yeah.
good.
crossed the Rubicon,
Yeah.
he became the dictator, and that eventually would lead to his downfall. And he was an absolute brilliant general, and I think when it comes to military leaders, he has to be considered one of the top two or three generals of all time.
Yeah,
But again, once he became the dictator,
they
he
have to have.
alienated, the people, and they had the plot against him, and it ended up costing him. But I was a great admirer of Caesar's military prowess.
Oh, were you really? See, I got the right
Yeah.
military guy on to talk about this stuff. Go ahead, Ed.
Yeah. No, I no. I agree. I mean, he was a brilliant military mind, but I think I see a theme that's being brought, that's kind of coming out here, is that all these guys who start out maybe good intentions, or what have you, but then it appears that the power, absolute power corrupts absolutely. And if you look at all of the leaders you've just talked about, that's what we're really seeing, is that it gets to a point that it's just it's too much, and then the people realize it. I mean, Gaddafi shooting his protesters, Caesar, Saddam Hussein. I mean, heck, Saddam Hussein was an ally of the Americans at one point prior to that. I mean, so it's just it's interesting, this topic, Scott, to see the commonality between the centuries of great leaders, great minds, who kind of lost it.
Thanks, MD. Appreciate the comment. Go ahead, Candy.
Yeah, he was a brilliant military man, so I'll leave it at that. Short and sweet.
Okay. Two more to go. Nicholas II entering World War One. Russia 1914. Obviously, bankrupted Russia, ignited famine, provoked revolution, and directly caused the fall of the 300-year Romanov dynasty. Steve, is that before our time too?
Yeah, World War One. The Russians got involved. They suffered horribly,
Mm-hmm.
and they the people were starving. Nicholas II. Then it was actually the Germans that put Lenin on a train to Russia to get Russia out of the war, and that's when the Bolsheviks and took over Russia. Nicholas and his entire family were executed, and then you had 70 years of the Soviet Union. So bad move on his part.
Again, going back to what I just said previous, Nicholas took it a step too far, pushed Bolsheviks to uprise, and they basically, the Bolshevik Revolution takes place, and they execute the whole, the reign of the Tsar is over, and now we have 70 years of communism in the Soviet Union. So you know, absolute power corrupts absolutely.
So, okay, so I'm on Nicholas II. Is that correct, Candy? I think, right?
Yes.
Yes. Yep.
Yes.
You're up, Candy.
All right, go ahead. You have the final word on that one. Then I have one more. Then we'll move on.
Despite being viewed more positively in recent years, the majority view among historians is that Nicholas was a well intentioned yet poor ruler who proved incapable of handling the challenges facing his nation.
Okay, last one. Mikhail Gorbachev, USSR, 1991. December 1991, Gorbachev's sudden resignation and decision to dissolve the Soviet Union ended a superpower overnight, triggering economic chaos, civil conflict, and the collapse of 15 unified republics, Steve.
Yeah, and actually, it did cause economic chaos, but the collapse of the Soviet Union was overdue, and
Right.
Gorbachev saw the writing on the wall. I mean, they could not sustain their economy with the way they were going, and this is a good lesson for those people who are all screaming for socialism. It wasn't a very good system, and they always had shortages of food and everything, and
Right.
eventually it reached the point where it collapsed in on itself, and there was a brief period where all these smaller countries that had been part of the Soviet Union all broke away, and created their own paths. Some of them are still reasonably free. Some of the other ones have taken other paths, but it was long overdue. And Gorbachev, I think, saw the writing on the wall. He inherited a bad situation himself.
Yeah, really. Go ahead, Eddie.
Out of everything that we've talked about these rulers, this is probably the most, we'll call it, positive one, in the sense that it dissolved the Soviet Union and it kind of opened it up. Now we go 35 years later, and it's kind of a different story, as Putin wants to, kind of reconsolidate everything. In about 10 or 15 years, Scott, we may add Putin to that list of people we can talk about.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, right, exactly. Hey, Katie.
Yeah, I mean it was inevitable at some point it was going to happen because it was already disintegrating before it, but yeah, he was kind of the one that made it the precipitous that made it go and fall apart.
Okay, I'll make this a little bit shorter than the other ones. Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum announces free universal health care for all 130 million citizens. So she said, and anyway, she's not perfect, but at the time. So let's just go ahead and compare what she's doing in her country, Steve, and what we're doing here if you want to go that far.
Yeah, well, again, I mean, it sounds great, right? Universal health care, but how are they going to pay for it? I mean,
Yeah, exactly.
Mexico is not in a great shape economically right now, and somebody has to pay for all this health care, and the when people who have universal health care, it generally isn't very good. I mean, you talk
Right.
to people who've been living in other countries
Right.
where they have that, and generally, I'm not going to say everywhere, but generally, your health care is not very good. And I mean, it sounds good, and it's a great idea, but somebody's got to foot the bill.
Yeah, exactly.
That's very true. Somebody's got to foot the bill, and it's interesting that you bring this topic up tonight, Scott, because we're in open enrollment right now, and my wife and I, the kids are off the policy, and it's just she and I, and we were just
Wow.
looking at, are we going to stay with what we have or change? And we're
Right.
going to change, but there's got to be something better than what maybe Mexico is doing and kind of the current system. Because for just the two of us, I'm going to be paying $860 a pay
Wow.
period for it. So
Wow.
$1,700 a month for insurance. That I go once every 6 months to get the blood draw, make sure everything's still ticking and so on. So we're relatively healthy, but it's just I don't know. It's just there's got to be something in the middle somewhere that's
Yep.
better, because I agree with Steve. I know people that have been lived in other places that will tell you the same story about social about healthcare, and healthcare for all is not always the best.
Andy.
Let's face it, right now Mexico had three different public health subsystems. And so now they're trying to coordinate it all beginning in January of 2027. Health services will start to be shared across the three subsystems, initially prioritizing emergency care, continuity of treatment, access to services regardless of insurance affiliation. During the first phase, they'll be able to receive services such as mammograms, biopsies, breast cancer treatment at a health care facility closest to their home. The second half of 2027, they're going to do even more. And then in 2028, they're going to add all the essential medicines and stuff like that. What I'll say about healthcare insurance, it's expensive.
Mm-hmm.
And if you go on Cobra, you're paying a lot of
Oh,
money. You
Right. Oh
know,
yeah.
it surprises me what some insurances pay for and what insurances don't pay for. You're going to make up the cost someplace, whether it be in your deductible, because yeah, we can have universal health care, but your deductible is going to be 2,500 or 5,000. So yeah, you don't have to pay for health insurance for the big things, but all the small little things will add up to that deductible.
right.
Just depends on your coverage, on the insurance that you have. But I will remember, Scott, at one point when they first introduced Obamacare,
Right.
when you used it before we were together,
Mm-hmm.
and it saved you because otherwise you would have gone bankrupt because you
Oh
had
yeah.
some health expenses at that point that had we not had you not had that, I don't know where you would have been financially.
Oh, I know. I've been dead. Period. That's all you need to know. Okay. Well, I'll tell you what. Here's a much easier topic that we can all live with. Countries where people work the fewest hours. Why didn't you bring this up in the beginning when you had creepy stuff? Why didn't you bring this up when we didn't know about these crazy things? Doesn't matter. Netherlands, 29.8 hours per week. I'm going to list them off. Okay, not too bad. Netherlands, 29.8 hours. I like to go there. Let's just ride my bicycle and go someplace else. Okay, Denmark, we're going there, right, Candy? 32.5 hours per week. Great stuff. Germany, 34.2 hours per week. Under 40. Of course, Norway, 33.7. And I'm wearing Norway. Got to have that on here and advertise it. Norway, there we go. Love Norway. My brother hadn't been there. That's even another reason. Okay, although he's been more places than extra. Switzerland, 34.6 hours per week. My goodness. Okay, yeah, hats off to Norway. Austria, 33.8 hours per week. Sweden, 34.8 hours per week. France, 35 hours per week. And that's it. All right, Steve, how do you like them apples? Or
Well, see, I got my Floki's shipyard shirt from Norway on right now. So there you go.
I mean, this is great. I should have started off with this, but now I had to get everybody to the show.
But
to get to
you know,
easy stuff.
and I like that. I mean, the Netherlands, 29 and a half hours a week. That's a short, that's not even a 4-day week. That's like,
No,
that's like Netherlands.
that's
yeah,
like two and a
that's
half.
like 3 and
that's like
3/4 days.
Yeah, that's yeah.
I'm all for that. I mean, you know, if you can make it work, and survive on that, I'm all for it.
Yeah, I love Norway. Now that's another reason why I love it. To give you 29.8 hours reason why I like it, and it's a good 3-digit number for all you lottery players. Go ahead, not that I know, but it's a good number. All right, go ahead, Ed.
Yeah, I mean, it's great, but it's great, but not but. It's interesting because, you know, we're all the Americans. It's interesting. I've worked with a lot of Europeans, a lot of Germans especially. And the Germans I know, they work 40 hours. They work hard when they work. However, they get a lot of vacation time. They will go and they'll take their PTO and they will disappear. You know how, I don't know, like myself, I'll have my laptop with me when I'm on vacation in case something arises or I want to stay ahead of email or, you know, they don't even do that. They go off the grid and so on. And I think that's somewhere where we need to start as a society here in America to do, and then slowly work into the shorter week. Because I think this country works way too, as one who is guilty of it, works way too hard.
Candy?
To piggyback from you, Ed, I think part of we all work till a certain age, and I think if you work so many hours, you want to get to a point where you can retire and still enjoy life and not have all kinds of health issues and problems. And so I think 40 hours is not the right for me, but that's what I mean, I'm working 40 plus, so
Yeah.
could I handle, 37, 34, 29.5? Of course I could. But like you, Steve, like and you had said, a lot of places have a lot more vacation.
Yes.
You know, I I can see it because I think sometimes we put too much stress on it, and I don't think we realize how much that really affects our health until we don't have our health, and then we're forced to.
Right.
Okay, let's rapid fire these next few because they're pretty good ones. I'm going to try to get as many in as I can. Okay, get this. Florida Highway Patrol added a seized Corvette CV Stingray to its fleet. The stock Stingray is a 194-mile-an-hour car. Now, that's my kind of vehicle. Florida Highway Patrol actually added this one. Oh, my God, 194. Hey, now I know where I need to really go to work. 194 miles an hour, Need for Speed. I'm going there. Go ahead, Steve.
Yeah, you need it on I-75. I mean, because
no kidding.
Every week there's stories in the paper around here where people are just going over 100 miles an hour on 75 or 82, which runs right by Fort Myers.
Right.
And it's like the cops, I mean, now they're not supposed to chase them. So I'm surprised that they they put a Corvette in there, but I guess he can get from point A to point B in quite a hurry.
Yeah, real quick. Welcome to Hot Rod Racing, funny car, and all that business. And I'll incorporate a few motorsports topics one of these days in here because there's pretty good ones out there. All right, go ahead, Eddie.
I think everybody. I think every officer in that unit is going to want to have that car. It's going to be.
Yeah.
They'll all be fighting over it. They'll be all like, "We'll do doubles shifts. We'll do just to be the cool cop in the car." But no, I've heard what Steve's heard. There's a big push to have them not do the chases anymore and so on. So I don't know if it'll be good or not, but hey, it might be cool just to drive around town.
Hey, Candy.
I mean, I can see it to a certain extent, but I don't know if many of you know this. If you are caught in the state of Florida exceeding the speed limit by 50 miles or more, or you're operating at 100 miles per hour or more, your first offense can be jail time up to 30 days in jail. So it's not a misdemeanor like it is some other places.
No, it's a felony.
It is.
It's a felony. Okay.
Yes.
All right, let's continue on here. Want to go to Saudi Arabia? I'll give you a place you can go. Rapid fire. The largest hotel in the world is rising in Saudi Arabia. It's going to have 10,000 rooms and 70 restaurants, Steve.
Yeah, that sounds great, except I don't want to go to Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, me either. That's okay. Go ahead, Ed.
But that's a big hotel, I'll tell you that.
Oh, yeah, no, I'm sorry, Steve. I didn't mean to cut you off. Yeah, 10,000 rooms, 70. It's safe to say you can get a room there. Go ahead, Ed.
No, I would like to go to Saudi Arabia just to kind of experience like the Saudi Arabia, Qatar. Just, I don't know. It just seems like it would be a different world unto anything that we know here. Just some of the opulence that you would see there, and so on. So, I mean, 10,000 room hotel, for God's sakes. Really? That's crazy.
Well, you forgot really, seriously, really, but that's okay. You get a pass. Okay, go.
Oh my God, I did. I had a perfect time to use it. Really seriously.
That's all right. Really, seriously, really.
Really, really seriously, really. Thank you. I'm still rookie. I'm still a rookie.
Hey, listen, you're doing good. I've hit you with some atomic bombs here these last couple of weeks, especially today with all these millions of lists. But these two lists have been inside of me. I had to get them out, but that's okay. You're doing great, Eddie. What do you think, Steve, of your new teammates? You doing all right?
Yeah, he's killing it.
I'm going to the Coral Springs Chamber. We had a person on there who was one and done. And, well, whatever. I ain't knocking nobody that comes on the show. It's not cut out for everybody. Go ahead, Candy.
10,000 rooms, 12 towers, 70 restaurants, 4 helipads, a shopping mall, a convention center, a bus station, 5 full floors reserved exclusively for the Saudi royal family, and the cost $3.5 billion.
That's all. Not too bad.
It has 5 helipads, did you say, or 3?
It has 4 helipads.
4 helipads. How many hotels in America have 1 helipad?
Well, that's true. Well, now we're talking about Saudi Arabia.
The thing sounds like a small city. It doesn't sound. It's not a hotel. It's a small city.
100,000 rooms. Yeah.
Yeah. Remember, Saudi Arabia brought us Live Golf. God help us. All right. Anyway.
God help us.
Yeah. Right. Okay. 2 more topics I want to get to. All right. And this one's a really good field story. It took so long. I got to say one of the best of the last because ex-boxing champ, now punching a clock, is Las Vegas mailman, inducted in the Nevada Boxing Hall of Fame in August of 2024 with a pro record of 29-11, 12 TKOs. E. Smith remains Las Vegas' most accomplished native son. How about that? An ex-boxing champ is now a mailman, Steve.
Hey, you better tip the mailman. That's all I'm going to say.
Well, don't
hey,
miss
good for him.
Yeah, don't miss this guy. He'll knock your brains out.
Yeah. Yeah, sorry, no dog is going to try to bite him when he's delivering mail, right? It's like,
sir.
Yeah, hey, this guy credit goes from being a boxing champ to a mailman. Go ahead, Eddie. Sorry.
You guys still you guys. I mean, you guys still pay the bills. You got to do it. And it's In today's market, when I'm talking to some people and I'm talking to my kids, I'm like, your job, you may not like your job from time to time, but be thankful that you have one because there's a lot of people out there that don't. So, if you can be employed and you got it, just keep going.
All right. Go ahead, Candy. Then we have one more topic we're going to get out, and then we'll go to Sports Exchange afterwards. So, for those of you guys that are watching us through this, we'll get you those invites in just a short period of time. Go ahead, Candy.
He started working for the Postal Service in 2020. He notes, and I thought this was very interesting, that the physical demands of carrying mail have caused more daily wear and tear on his body than his 20-year boxing career.
Wow, that's
Oh
incredible.
wow, that's crazy.
Yes. I give the guy a lot of credit. All right, final topic of the night. If you had dinner, don't worry about it. This will inspire you. A 38-year-old started a hummus, whatever you call it, with a $450 blender. That's it, hummus. With a $450 blender. This year is projected to make $50 million. At 26, Chris Kirby left restaurant burnout behind and moved back with his parents. Started over at a community college, and this is what he's got, Steve. Hummus making millions of dollars.
I love it. That's a great story. And, I was never a fan of hummus until, traveled in the Middle East all the time. And I got to like it. I'm just going to sit here and I'm not going to argue. I mean, it's not something I eat, a lot of here in the States. But I got to like it. And good for this guy. He found a niche and now he's making 50 million a year. Good for him. I love it.
Start.
I love stories like that.
Yeah, that's why I waited till the end, so I get you guys through the tough part, man. You survived here. You're doing good. $450 worth, over 50 million. I'll take that trade all day long, right, Ed?
Absolutely, that's great. That's it doesn't happen overnight, but if you stick to it and you keep going, magic can happen, and I'm sure it wasn't easy, but he's now where he's at. He's now 50 million. What, a $50 million company? He said that's not bad.
Pretty well for himself. Yeah.
That blender was a very good investment.
Yeah, for what and for hummus, for what, squished chickpeas and some spices, right?
Yes,
That's basically hummy, right?
Yeah.
So
I
no,
Yeah,
I don't mind it.
chickpeas and a little bit of oil. And
Yep, and some and maybe a little paprika in there or something, and yeah.
yep.
Chickpeas, tahini, fresh lemon juice, garlic, olive oil, and a splash of water or chickpea liquid. He basically started with a $450 kitchen blender. Now, 12 years later, he's on track to generate over 50 million in annual revenue, with cumulative lifetime sales surpassing 150 million. He's now stocked in over 8,000 to 10,000 retail stores across the United States. Pretty impressive.
So we started with the food topic with John Bon Jovi, and we ended one with hummus with a whole lot in between. Guess what, everybody?
That's why you're the Motor City Madmouth, Scott.
Thank you, Ed. I appreciate that.
Pull it all together. You pulled it up. You put a bow on it for the fans out there tonight.
There you go. Yeah, thanks, Ed. You're the best, man. I love having this guy on the show. Steve, obviously, and we got a lot of other work to do. Only he'll find out that I got more projects in the work for us that could possibly do good for both of us. And obviously, my right-hand man, Candy's everything. So what can I say? But that said, that does it for this edition of the Motor City Man Mouse Show, but we're not done yet. Candy, give us a final station break. Sports Exchange is next. For those of you on the network, coming up, but we've had one whale of a show tonight. Go ahead, Candy.
South Florida Tribune Publishing Company published a book, Lessons from the Microphone, Tuning into the Enduring Wisdom of Visionary Leaders. It is written by our host, Scott the Motor City Madmouth Morganroth. Talks about his 40-plus years in the media business. Old school media versus new school media. Get your copy today. It's available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Kindle, Google, and Apple Books. The audiobook is also out there. There's a link on our website, www.southfloridatribune.com, where there's a plethora of great content, so go check it out. If you like to listen to podcasts, you can find us wherever you get your podcasts. If you ever want to advertise, or if you want to be on a show, email us at southfloridatribune@gmail.com. If you see the red subscribe button in the lower right-hand corner, that means you have not yet subscribed to us. Please do so, and then turn on your notifications so you're notified every time we go live. Last but not least, we created another YouTube channel, Destination Discoveries Media Network. If you would please go subscribe to that one, it's the QR code in the top left right now. This is where we talk all things travel, anything. We do a travel show Monday nights called No Limits. And then this show is on there on the Destination Discoveries Media Network as well. Please subscribe. Go check out all the different content we have out there for you. Back to you, Scott.
All right, Steve, real quickly, go out there, let everybody know they can reach you.
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter at SteveB7SFG. I write for PatsFans.com and now entering season 16, writing for those guys. We have a podcast coming up on Friday talking about Patriots training camp. I'm also a senior defense editor for National Security Journal. And as you can imagine, things have been really busy on that aspect of my job lately.
Beautiful. Well, I'm glad you're involved with it. I'm glad I'm involved with you doing this and other projects. And go ahead, Ed.
You can reach me here at the South Florida Tribune Network on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays inside the Pigskin. Here on the Motor City Madmouth Show and Sports Wrap on Thursday. And this month, and and on all social media under Ed McAndrew. And with that being said, I am running a Facebook fundraiser for my birthday for the AFTD.org organization. It's the Association of Frontal Temporal Lobe Dementia. My father was diagnosed, my dad, I don't know why I call him my father. My dad was diagnosed with that in 1997. And the organization AFTD was founded in 2002. So we had about a 5-year stint of where we were kind of on our own doing stuff. And 2002, the organization began. My family became very involved with it. In 2005, my dad passed away from complications of frontal temporal lobe dementia. Frontal FTD, as it's called, is affects the frontal temporal lobe of the brain, kind of your functioning, your executive functioning skills. So instead of remembering and forgetting things, you forget how you don't know how to do things, and the person eventually becomes nonverbal. And my dad became nonverbal towards the end. Anyway, I've been doing a fundraiser for my birthday via Facebook since for about the past 5 years. You can go out to my site. You're on Facebook. You can see it there. Donate. You can go out to aftd.org and donate there. And what I like to do is, if you can donate, great. If you can share, great. If you can donate and share, great. If you can't do any of those three, great. If I've just taught you something new about it, because frontal temporal lobe dementia is kind of like the little brother to Alzheimer's. It's not known. Doesn't get all the government funding. It's just not as familiar yet. And one of my family's things to do is kind of help, the organization kind of get the word out there, because you don't have people out there might feel they're alone, but they're not. There are a lot out there with us. And just as a kind of FYI, it's what Bruce Willis is suffering from right now. He has FTD. So anyway, thank you for listening to all of that. I appreciate it, and thanks.
All right, well, I'll tell you what, that does it for this edition of Motor City Man Mount Show. Sports Exchange is next. Hockey is back tomorrow on Sports Wrap, so we're going to have a lot of hockey information to talk about, and we're going to have Dennis Moore coming back in the next week or two, Steve. Hope you can pop on. I know you want to do that. So with that said, on behalf of Steve Ballesteri, Ed McAndrew, Candy Embley, my name is Scott Morganoff, Motor City Man Mount. Thank you for joining us. The Sports Exchange is next. We will see you next Wednesday at 7:30 p.m. And I repeat, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time for another edition of the Motor City Mad Mount Show. Take care, everybody. Have a great night.
Have a great one. All right.
Take care.
Great night.
Bye-bye.
Take care. Bye.